Today it's all about DJ gigs, how I got my very first one, and also how you can get your very first DJ gig. Hey guys, good morning. Today the hangover isn't actually that bad, because as you know, yesterday I had 1 or 2 drinks too many.
Yeah, we're done DJing. I'm wasted, Gordon is wasted, everyone is wasted. You're drunk.
And if you consider that it was the first weekend, the first Friday in the new year, right after New Year's Eve, the night was just amazing. It was packed, the vibe was really good. But since I worked the entire day, like 12 hours in the studio, then 8 hours, 9 hours in the club, plus the drinking, there is no way I'm heading today to the studio or doing any kind of work. It's a chill day. It's definitely time for another hangover story time. Okay, had a quick shower. It helps so much, feeling a whole lot better. In today's hangover story time, I thought about talking about my very first gig, how I got it, and actually also how you can get your first gig. Just checking if I can find any very old pictures of me DJing. Oh yes. The very first I could find is from the 6th of November 2005, and that's already me playing in a club for like 800 people, so I started like 2 years before that actually DJing. That just makes me realize how old I am and for how long I'm actually already doing this DJ thing. I'm actually now longer a DJ than I wasn't a DJ. I'm DJing for more than half of my life. Back in the days it was a lot harder to become a DJ, but it was a lot easier to get gigs. This was mainly because becoming a DJ meant to buy a lot of records and record players, which sets you back already by like 3,000–4,000 euros. And only a few people invested that money, so there were maybe like 10–20 DJs in the city. And if you were one of them, you got gigs. Nowadays, it's the opposite. The entrance to DJing is very inexpensive. You just need a laptop. I even know some people DJing with iPads. But then getting the gigs is almost impossible because the market is so flooded. There are so many DJs even DJing for free. And if you want to get paid for DJing, you kind of have to compete with all of those people that do it for free because they just do it as a hobby. So it's really a lot harder. And to make it nowadays, you just have to bring more to the table. One of these things is definitely producing, making music, building up a fan base up this way, and making sure whenever you DJ that there are hundreds of people showing up. I don't want to get too much into that way of making it because it's basically all about producing good music, promoting it, finding a label, management. And then the gigs, they will come by themselves. It's easy this way. Not the way is easy, it's hard. But once you made it, getting the gigs is easy. I back in the day started out without any producing. I think I DJ'd 4 years or 3 years, and then I started producing, and then it took me like 5–6 more years to learn how to produce, at least to get to a point where I could release my songs on a label and actually get them out there. And then it took me another 4 years to actually make good music and get a lot of plays and a little bit of attention. And my very first gig was in a youth club, underground, maybe 50 people. I played the first half hour. A friend of mine that was with me in school was already a DJ there, and I just asked him if I could play the first half hour. And it's usually the easiest to get into a club, to play somewhere, just by asking another DJ, because the first half hour is just boring, no one is there. And any DJ is happy to give that boring part to someone else, especially if they just play for free. This way you can practice, you can gain experience. Maybe the DJ lets you play half an hour longer because you're doing a great job. Maybe one day he gets sick and then you have to fill in. That's exactly what happened with me. So I think like 3 or 4 months later, I was the one headlining, if you can call that headlining, in front of 50 people that were all like 14, 15, 16, really young age. And after doing that for a while, getting in touch with other DJs and asking them to help me to also get in contact with other clubs, I slowly advanced just by playing bigger gigs. I also did birthdays, weddings, everything I could do, I just did to have more money, basically to buy more records. I was really addicted to buying records. And the more you play, the more experienced you will be, the more people will listen to your music, the more people, or there's a higher chance more people will like it and refer you and just book you for another birthday, wedding, a club gig. Just be active and do as much as you can. And I think after 2 years I had my first residency. A residency is when you play like every month or every week in the same club. This really helped me a lot to advance with DJing. First, like having those steady gigs. And as a resident DJ, you can't play the same thing over and over again because you're every week there. So you have to change up the music, but still keep a style that fits to the club. And as a resident, you usually don't have any fans that come just to listen to your music. You're just like a jukebox. So people judge you based on what you play. And there's like no fan base that will support you no matter what you do. So I think it's like the toughest job to be a resident. Everyone has to go through being a resident once in their life in a club or a bar. I then just advanced, got to bigger clubs outside of the city, further away, bigger clubs and bigger clubs. I continued my journey, tried my best, and eventually ended up in the biggest club in town, like playing in front of 2,000 to 3,000 people. Was the same club where also David Guetta played, Swedish House Mafia, all of them, Avicii, but like years ago where they were all still pretty small. This was right around the end of my school, actually my high school, and I then went to university, and during that time I didn't DJ that much anymore. I was just too busy focusing more on producing actually. I didn't really go to university, and I started having my first releases and wanted to dedicate more time to making good music. And also the entire market switched, so it wasn't really that easy to get gigs anymore. And more clubs only booked DJs that were also producers. So I kind of had to focus more on producing, which I anyways wanted to do and already started years earlier, because there's a long learning curve when it comes to making music. Nowadays, it's a lot harder. So if you want to have your first DJ gig, you have to probably be even way more active. Get in touch with other DJs, that's the easiest. If there is someone that likes you and doesn't see you as competition and helps you a little bit, that's the best that can happen to you. Just go to the clubs, be a guest in the clubs. If you're not a guest, there is no chance that you will ever DJ there. Try to get in touch with the club owner, try to get in touch with the promoters, be nice to them. Try to send them your mixtape or podcast or SoundCloud link with the music that you mix so they know what you're actually doing. Make sure to promote yourself on all social media. Make sure everyone that knows you knows that you're DJing, because it could be anyone in your family or surrounding or friends that might need a DJ. And if they think about DJs and you come up, more likely that you will get a gig. Be professional, play good music, play music that fits to the event and the time. You could get in contact with bars and try to DJ there. It's a lot easier than actually trying to play in a club. In a club, people are dancing and they are afraid that if you're just doing it for the first time, you might screw up. A club won't risk that. The music is way too important. You have to start very small and slowly build up your career. So I hope this helped. I hope you can take away a couple of tips how I got into DJing, how you can get into DJing. If I forgot anything or you know more techniques and ways how to actually get gigs or your first gig, just leave it down below in the comments for everyone to see. That's really it for today with the vlog. I just need to chill, relax, sleep, definitely sleep, not drink, recover, to be able to go back to the studio and make music tomorrow or on Monday.